Hey, welcome back to Great American Movie Review. First time back after some busyness around the holidays, but I'm here with a little bit late but still new review for Wonka. Wonka is, of course, this prequel film starring Timothée Chalamet as the titular Willy Wonka. And yeah, it takes place well before he ever had his factory and his hold over this town with his chocolates. And this story of a young Willy Wonka coming into the big city and trying to make a name for himself with his wonderful chocolate creations. But he's constantly getting shut down by a bunch of cartoonish and over the top villains, particularly this chocolate cartel that kind of runs the chocolate business and by extension the whole town. It's very silly and frankly the perfect movie for the holiday season. If you're looking for something around Christmas to just cheer you up a bit, holiday depression can be a real thing. This movie just put a smile on my face and it kept it there. This is from director Paul King, who did the Paddington films, the first two. The third one, I don't think he's doing, unfortunately, because those first two are incredible. Particularly the second one. At this point, it's pretty well known that Paddington 2 is an incredible movie, regardless of it being a family film or whatever you might want to classify it as. It's just a great film, one of my favorites of the year that it came out. So when I heard about this film idea, it was one of those things where it's like, I don't know if that sounds like a good idea for a film, but I really trust Paul King based on his Paddington films that he can deliver something that I will enjoy. And sure enough, he comes through, and this is pure just a cinematic expression of joy, is what this film is. And it's really delightful. Timothy Chalamet, it's really nice to see him in more of a joyful role as well. Just nice big smile on his face, and he's even singing and dancing in this film. Which, by the way, this is a musical, if you weren't aware. Which the original Willy Wonka film is a musical. The Tim Burton one, which I actually have a little bit of a soft spot for, but that one had a few musical elements, but mostly just with like the Oompa Loompas. So this is kind of a return back to that original, and it even has music cues tying it into that original, kind of playing up the nostalgia of it. But I think that the movie doesn't dwell on the nostalgia of the original, so I think it earns that through line. But the music here, as a musical, I wouldn't say that this is like the strongest musical even to come out in recent years, just because I think the songs are all good. They're all solid. They all work for the film as a whole, but not really any of them are super catchy, something you're going to be humming and singing later on, except for, of course, the two songs they bring back from that original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. However, as far as I'm concerned, I love that original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory film, or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, as it's called. The musical elements there, outside of the two songs that they bring back here, kind of don't stand out much either. That's maybe a hot take. I don't know. But I don't know. Like, I don't need the song where Charlie's mom is singing it to him, like, cheer up, Charlie. There's songs in there that are not that great either. So here the songs are at least solid throughout. There's not one in it that's bad. There's just the only ones that are particularly memorable, particularly like I'm going to be humming this and have it stuck in my head are those two, specifically Pure Imagination and then the Oompa Loompa song, which they use very comedically here. Take that as you will. I think all of the musical performances are well done. I think those elements are well integrated into the film, and I think the songs are good. They're just not stand out like you might want. Something like A Greatest Showman from a couple years ago, I think those songs were catchier. They had a little bit more listen value like outside of the film. So yeah, just take that as you will. But I don't really think that it hurts the movie too much. I just don't think it like really pushes it to this like musical theater nerds are gonna be all over this one. I don't know. I frankly don't. because I just don't think those songs for the most part quite get there. But the film overall is still delightful. There's a lot of just magic and wonder in it, and some stuff that you feel like it could go down a wrong path and kind of look like the Robert Downey Jr. Doolittle film, which, my goodness, what a nightmare that was. But it doesn't go down that way. It ends up finding the through line to still have goofiness and family kind of elements in the in the narrative and everything, but it manages to find the thread to not go too far down like fart jokes and whatnot. Not to say that there aren't any, but yeah, this is a really good time. It has the story overall is pretty paint by numbers. I'm not going to lie about that. That it's very standard, but it feels still true to Roald Dahl in his sensibilities, even with like the chocolate cartel being like these three individuals, that's Slugworth, Prodnose, and Fickelgruber, and they're like these horribly like cartoonish evil mustache twirling style villains, and it's a lot of fun to have those characters. You also have Olivia Colman and Tom Davis playing a couple of characters that are really taking advantage, also once again just cartoonishly evil characters that are standing in the way of your pure of heart heroes. Also, just a quick thing, there's a character introduced here too that's very important to the film. Her name's Noodle. She's played by Kala Lane. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but yeah, she's really good in the movie. I'd like to see her continue. There's a lot of heart to that character, and kind of the storyline centered around her. A lot of the film is there, as well as just Willie's own journey, I think, has kind of an emotional impact to it that is really effective by the end of it. And the other supporting characters are a lot of fun too, including Paul King's now frequent collaborator, Simon Farnaby, who also wrote this film with Paul King, as well as he wrote Paddington 2 with Paul King. And in each of these last three films that Paul King has done, he's played a security guard of some sort. So that's just like a fun kind of through line. Some of the same actors and familiar faces show up, Sally Hawkins and some other people. But yeah, it's just really charming, really delightful. Put a smile on your face, just kind of the magic of something just pure and enjoyable. Is it one of the best films of the year? I'm not going to say that, but it's just, like I said, it puts a smile on your face for a couple hours. And around this time of year, that's all I really want. That's great. It's what the doctor ordered. So, but yeah, that'll do it for my thoughts here on this particular film, Wonka, and I'll be trying to get out a few more of these with the busy holiday season, prioritizing. I put up a poll if anybody wants to respond to that or pick an option there, I'll prioritize getting those reviews out based on how much people seem to want them. But that'll do it for this episode. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you at the movies.